Hello and welcome back to the Wilfie Podcast. This is episode 2. Sorry we've been away for so long. We went on holiday and then came back and we've just been getting back into the routine of normal life. Sophie, how have you been?
I've been okay. I enjoyed the holiday. We'd very much like to be back there.
Yeah. So Sophie and I went to Mallorca, for those of you who don't know. And yeah, let's talk about that. So,
no, first of all, how have you been?
I've been okay. I've been, I've recently just gone back to uni and, just had my first week. And it sounds like this year's actually going to be way easier than last year, which is always nice to know. I think one of my modules I've got to do making like music for film trailers, and I've not done that before. So that's a bit like disconcerting because I just haven't done that before. But yeah, so back to the first topic because I want to do things in order. Mallorca. Talk to us about that.
Well, Mallorca was fun. I actually booked this holiday, so I was basically in charge, which was a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Will didn't like it. He's going to book for the rest of the holidays that we have, and pay.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it was a lovely holiday. We drove there, didn't we?
We did.
It took us 3 hours to get there.
On. We drove to the airport. We didn't drive to Mallorca.
Oh yeah, we drove to the airport. Sorry,
we drove to Stansted, which is like what, 2.5 hours away, 3 hours?
No, it took 3 hours for us to get there because there was horrendous traffic. It should have been, I think, about an hour and a half.
No.
Come on.
No, it's like 3 hours.
Let me check.
It's 2.5, 3 hours from here to Stansted.
No, it's not, because it didn't take us 3 hours to get back when you drove home.
Because I came back at like 1:30 in the morning when there's no traffic. Still took 2 hours though for me to get back.
Why won't it let me choose?
So we're using different cameras today as well, so we're actually able to have our phones.
2 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it said when we set off though, and it never does because you're going
2 hours and 3 minutes, Will.
You
didn't take you to 2 hours and 3 minutes to drive home though, did it? And there's no red traffic on there.
Yeah.
It didn't.
I think it did.
We arrived home at what? 12:30 a.m.
No.
Arrived
We
back
didn't
to
leave the airport
Stansted, sorry.
until, we arrived at Stansted at about 11:30.
And then we got home at about 1:30. 1:45.
More. It was past 2:00 when we got back. Sure it was. Anyway, so we drove to Stansted, which took 3 hours, which is it's about the right time to get there. And then we went into the airport, went through security, no real issues there. We flew with Ryanair, which is never a good experience, but it got us there in one piece, so can't really complain. And then once we arrived in Mallorca, so what time did we go? So the flight out was 5:30ish, although that set off late, didn't it? It set off at like 6:30 maybe. I fell asleep before we even took off on the way there. I was really tired. I don't know why. Stressed about Sophie's driving, probably. And then once we eventually landed in Mallorca, that was pretty uneventful, getting through border security and all that, wasn't it? It was quite easy. Went outside, got in a taxi, drove us straight to the hotel. Sophie, what was the first surprise?
How big it was.
This hotel was massive. Like, I think we worked out over 600 rooms, probably. And yeah, about 1 million floors high. The place that we stayed in Gran Canaria was just like bungalows everywhere, wasn't it? And it was a little like villa to yourself.
It was like you have your own little apartment in Gran Canaria, and like it wasn't a hotel, whereas where I booked was a hotel, but where I was looking for like these little separate like apartment bungalow sort of things was so expensive, especially in Mallorca, like because I wanted to go somewhere nice and hot.
Yeah.
And like Gran Canaria.
Prices have gone up massively this year as well. It's like double the price to do exactly the same holiday, or actually a worse holiday than Gran Canaria. Not because of anything that you did wrong, but just it was like prices have just doubled.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And we also booked within a month of going.
We did, but I don't think that makes a huge
It does. It's the flights as well.
Flights are cheap.
Because flights were included into it as well.
Yeah, flights are cheap though.
Not all the time.
Compared to the hotel, flights are cheap. Always.
Yeah. And then you also want to have all-inclusive where you get like all the food and stuff instead of self-catering.
Yeah.
Which I think makes it go up a bit more as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much more because they're making all the food anyway. If you do self-catering, you're not spending loads in like supermarkets and whatever. Because like we were miles away from a supermarket, so.
Oh yeah, if you were self-catering, I think you'd find something. You'd look around to see what was around. Whereas I think I booked it because every single place that we were going to, like where we were looking at, was late travel there, and we didn't really want to travel late there.
That was it.
And it was a taxi journey and stuff.
Yeah. So then, after we arrived and we'd settled into the hotel room, we were on floor 4 of like 12.
10.
It was 12 on our one. It was.
No, it was 11. You told me it was 11, but there was only 10 floors.
Maybe the top 2 were like for cleaning
Maybe.
stuff or whatever. But I counted the windows from the pool, and it was 12.
Yes, but if you think about it, there's some below. That floor that we were on.
14 then.
Where there's floors below because of the...
2 floors below because of the sports bar and
Yeah.
kids pool. It was 14 high from the 12 high from the pool.
There you go then.
But yeah, so you had the option of stairs or a lift, and like when we first arrived, we used a lift. Didn't think anything of it. By halfway through day 1, we realised that this lift was like not set up for anybody on any of the middle floors. It was definitely set up for people on the bottom floor and the top floor, because the lift stops off at every single floor when somebody says, yes, I want to continue going downwards. So you've got to wait for somebody to want to come down from the top. And then you've just got to get in that lift. And sometimes there won't be enough room because the lift was really small. So we just ended up taking the stairs. So we got our steps in.
We did.
Running up and down from ground floor to floor 4. And what did we do day 1? We had a bit of a walk
we
around,
had a
didn't we?
walk on like the beach and looked around.
Went to the water park, or had walked up to the water
Yeah.
park, basically. We didn't actually go to it because Soph's terrified of slides.
Water sludge, yes. We then just spent like the afternoon by the pool, read our books, and actually got in the pool. And when you think you go on holiday and you think you go somewhere hot, you'd think the water would be quite warm. No, it was freezing. It was a shock to the system when you put your feet in. And all you want to do is just jump straight out again.
Yeah. But after day 1, we decided the best way to get in was just all at once. Or I decided.
You did, you jumped in.
I always got in just all in one go, rather than walking down the steps, just because it was too mentally daunting otherwise.
Yeah, it was quite cold.
But yeah, no, really enjoyed that actually. I think probably 4 out of the 5 days we were there, we ended up...
we were there for 7 days.
Yeah, but day 1 was us arriving.
Oh, yeah.
And day 7, sorry, was us leaving. So it was 5 full days.
Yeah, true.
Of the 5 full days that we were there, we basically spent 4 of them by the pool. And yeah, it was really nice though, because it was just relaxing. Like there was no force pushing us to do anything, so we literally just took the time to relax. Like took part in some poolside activities.
That was nearing the end of the holiday though.
Yeah,
but I think it was
2 days we didn't really do much.
There wasn't much there though. There wasn't any activities going on, if I remember rightly. Like I think the first couple of days, because I think it was a weekend. We turned up on the Saturday. No. Yeah, we got there on Friday night. So Saturday and Sunday they didn't seem very active in the sense of poolside activities, if I remember rightly.
Or maybe we just weren't there at the right
Or they
times.
were inside. But by nearing the end of the week, they were coming out saying, come on, there's activities inside.
Yeah. It was really good though. So one of the activities that we did it in Gran Canaria actually, was where you've got to throw the like little pucks at 4 holes in a piece of wood. I'll try and find a picture and insert it. But yeah, you've just got to fling this wooden puck at holes and try and get as many points as you can. So we did that. And no, we didn't win that one, did we?
No.
No.
On that, we did it on the other day, like the day after or something, or 2 days after, and it was like 4 lots of activity, wasn't there? There was one where you throw frisbees into 2 set nets,
Yeah.
like one high and one lower. If you didn't get that in that net, you do get a bit of cold water on you.
Ice water.
And the guy said to me, because he obviously asked me and where we're from, and we said we're from the UK. And he said, he was like, "Are you ready for this?" I said, "No, I'm not." He was like, "You should be used to it though, because you're from the UK. Just because obviously they always get lovely weather and it's never really cold there." And he just laughed and tipped some on my head. And then
You should have got the frisbees in.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have very good accuracy. And then the next game was you throw some, like you have 3, it depends on how many frisbees you get in the net. You have 1 to 3. If you get 1 or 2 or 3, you get that amount of beanbags. And you throw the beanbags on the bag and, no, on the mat with numbers on it. And then that's your score by adding up the numbers that you've landed on.
It's like a board with lots of circles which had a number inside, and whatever number
I think it was
you got
1 to 15.
1 to 15.
Yeah. And then once you've done that, it was the game that Will just explained, the ones with the little round counters.
Yeah.
And you just like pull them off. But whatever your score was before that on the beanbag game is how many counters you get for your go then. And then after that, I don't know how it worked out for the amount of beanbags you get for throwing it onto like a wooden, it's like a wooden slanted, what would you call it?
It's the board on the floor at an angle. It's got a little hole in. You've got to throw a beanbag into that hole.
Yeah, and I can't remember how many, like, how it worked out with how many beanbags you got, but however many you got in the certain slots is how many beanbags you got, or like the divided bit or something. I can't remember how they did it. But like if you got it out of the hole and onto the wooden slab, you got 1 point.
Yeah, if you just got it onto the wood, you got 1 point. You got 3 points if it went in the hole.
It went in, yeah. But
it was good fun, actually.
It was a really good fun
you
activity,
win that
wasn't
one?
it? I did win that one.
And I got 1 point less.
Yes, I got 112 and you got 111.
Yeah, I had to let her win but make it look close. That's what happened there.
No, it's just because I'm better than him at games.
So that was good fun. Soph got a certificate with her name written incorrectly spelt on it. Because she was too scared to correct anyone that speaks a different language. It was really funny.
Oh no, I'm tired of correcting people how to spell my name. So do you know what? I'll just live with it spelt with
Well,
PH.
the thing is, it's not that you're correcting people, it's that you're telling somebody to spell it wrong.
No,
It's like,
no, Will.
Sophie is spelled Sophie.
It's telling someone how to spell my name correctly. If someone spelt their name, so another Sophie spelt their name with a PH and I wrote it down as an F,
Yeah.
then they'll be correcting me. And then if they
Yeah,
put my name
because
down
you
as a
spelled it
PH,
wrong.
I'm correcting them.
Yeah, but
Because it's the correct way to spell my name. So actually, either way, it doesn't matter.
The
You could spell
expectation is
Zach
it's
like
spelled
John. There are many different ways to spell John.
yes, there are. But
So
there
how
aren't
are
many
you
different ways to
correcting
spell
it?
Sophie.
There's
You
two.
invented one.
And the one in Mallorca spelt her name as Sofia. Sophia.
Yes, 'cause Sophia is a name.
But Sophia is also spelled with a PH.
Yes,
thank you very
but-
much.
But Sophia with an F is the Greek way of spelling Sophia.
It doesn't
which is where
matter.
it's from.
That's what Mum and Dad wanted. He just wanted me to be unique. Actually, it was Dad's
You're
choice.
definitely unique.
I am.
No worries about that.
He always moans at me with how my name's spelled.
Because it's wrong. We'll fix it.
It's not.
We'll fix it one day.
No, that's how I want my name spelled.
And one day we decided to hire a car. So we got up nice and early, went and had early breakfast so we could get to the car rental place. We were outside the car place and basically just started pooping ourselves. So then backed out and...
I think it was more because I was really anxious.
Yeah, but I was just trying to spread the blame because I'm a nice guy. Soph was pooing her pants about having a rental car, so we decided to postpone it for a day and just have a day by the pool. And yeah, that was a nice day. But then we booked the car for the next day. I got an automatic Nissan Micra because I
Nissan?
didn't. It was a Nissan.
Nissan.
It
You
was a
said Nissan.
It is a Nissan.
It's not.
Nissan Micra.
Nissan.
And yeah, just thought we'd spend like an extra 20 euros on getting it to be an automatic one rather than manual, just 'cause I wanted one less thing to think about. I'm there on holiday. I'm not there to like show I'm the best driver in the world. So we hired a car, and on that day we went to the aquarium, which is where we bought this. Ta-da! It's like little turtles, and it looks really cool. It says the Palmer Aquarium. That's where we went. But yeah, really, really like this. It's a nice coffee table ornament, isn't it?
Mm.
And we managed to get it back in one piece. So
We did.
don't know quite how we managed that, but we did it.
We also got my parents a snow globe, which I actually think is in that unit, but I don't want to undo it because I've not yet given it to them.
It's this one. It's
And
got
they've
two
got
turtles inside it
turtles
as
in
well.
them as well. And then,
It's quite cool. Why don't we get one of these for us? We basically have. It's just in bubble wrap.
yeah. And then Will got a teddy tortoise.
Yeah, I found where they sell them here as well, by the way.
Where?
They sell them...
In all all,
you know where Bonners is?
whatever they're called.
You know where Bonners
Gift
is?
shops. Yeah.
That roundabout that's near the train station there.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going down that road, and there's just like a balloon shop, and it sells them.
Yeah, any gift shop does them as well.
Mm.
But what I've noticed, like even being in a different country,
Yeah,
they don't ever put the price on these teddies.
they do. They're just on the barcodes.
No, they're not. If you go into any gift shops, the amount of times I've gone in gift shops for work for the kids and they want a teddy, that teddy, like that make of the teddies, never have the price on them.
Mm.
Never.
Weird.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't even have the price on it because you can even find it.
Maybe not.
Maybe in the card factory or something they'll have the price on it because I reckon that's what happens. But if you go in a gift shop, there are some places, like some of them don't have the prices on.
Yeah.
Especially like aquariums and zoos and stuff like that. They definitely don't have them.
Yeah. Interesting.
It
It's probably
is.
how they make so much money.
Probably because they're so
I
expensive.
think
You
it was
never
like
really
15
think.
euros, wasn't it? For
Yeah.
Teddy. But
Although-
yeah, I got a Taylor the Tortoise, and I'm actually giving it away on my channel. We hit 11,000 subscribers, by the way. Thank you so much for that. Super excited. I didn't do a giveaway for 10,000 subs. I just sold t-shirts and hoodies. But yeah, this time I'm going to do a giveaway, which I really need to put in motion, to be fair. It's a one-of-one thing. So I'm just going to have to do a video, I think, where I put out a code. It says you get 100% off this thing and set it to be like £1 million, and you get 100% off if you do it. And then subsequently I'll see how much I can get the teddies for and then sell them if people want them. But I've got a couple of people in mind that I'd like to win it just because they've supported me for so long. So I might find a way of messaging them the code early just to give them an advantage. But yeah, so that was really good. We went to the aquarium, got that stuff, and then panicked when we came out to the car because we parked in that wasn't a space, didn't we?
Well, it was a space because he only asked us to move because someone else was waiting to park.
Yeah, but it was a drop curb. You're not supposed to park.
But I'm guessing, but they all have different rules over there. If you read the things on the hire car where it said about where you can park, there's nothing about drop curbs.
No, because it's part of the
It's
highway code. that you
maybe
can't park.
yeah, but that's in the UK,
No, it's still
not in Spain.
No, it's still in Spain. It's the same.
I don't think so.
The only words they've changed in theirs is the word left and right. Could you drive on the right?
Oh my god, when we were driving to the aquarium and also to this other place that we was going to tell you about in a minute because I can't remember what it was, or what it was called, the maps were so difficult to read. He
So
doesn't
really
even
struggled.
believe
I don't know
me.
why.
No, I don't struggle reading a map. I'm the
Because
best
it said
person to read a map.
KM instead of M, Soph's brain didn't work. So she kept telling me to turn in different directions, and it wasn't even asking us to go. in
No,
different
it wasn't
directions.
even that. That didn't bother me. I just said to you, I was like, I just don't know how far this like 9 km is from
You
the
need
next
to know, just
junction.
tell me, because I know.
But it's still like if you were the one reading the map and I was the one driving, it probably still can like throw you off because if you look at the map, like when I'm driving, I look at the map. I don't look at like the sign thing unless my Google Maps have decided to flip around and you're meant to turn right, but it looks like you're meant to be turning left. I will look at the signing thing. Yeah, my maps do that sometimes. It does.
I just don't understand how.
And
your brain
then
works. It does-
reading,
well, it doesn't.
like reading the map, it does. Reading the map, so like looking at it, the roads were so confusing. Like junctions were so close together on the map, where the junctions weren't even like you have one junction to turn off, and then like a few yards down the road, there's another junction. So where like how quick, you know, like if you're driving really fast on the dual carriageway, your phone doesn't catch up that instant. Like, it looked like, oh, okay, we're meant to be turning off at this one. But actually, it was meant to be the following one that was literally like 100 yards further down the road. wasn't even that fast. When I told Will, I was like, all right, you need to come off this junction, I thought, oh, maybe the map will catch up. And then when he came off it, I was like, no, we've gone down the wrong junction.
So I ended up driving down some tight village lanes in Mallorca, as well as some
No, that was
busy
going to the other
motorways,
place.
as well as some narrow streets.
Well, I informed you to the other place we went the second time. Like, the second place we went to was going to be tight. Because I read the reviews and they said there were tight roads on the way up to it.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered about that. It was more the other tight roads.
What other tight roads?
The ones where there were loads of cars and we were in traffic.
They're not tight roads. They had like 4 lay lines.
No, the one where there was only one lane either side. Or not even either side. It was
That's
like
not tight
one
road
inch.
then, is it? That's the main road.
No, it was tight because there were buildings and it was just shit. Maybe you don't remember. I don't know. I remember.
No, because I was looking at the map trying to figure out where we were going.
Yeah. And then after we went to the aquarium, we went to a place that was supposed to have like waterfalls and like a little pool that you could swim in with the natural waterfall going into it. And that was there, and it was cool, but it was literally cool, so it was too cold to get in, and was only like.
I think it was cold anyway because it was cold that day, wasn't it?
It was like 21 degrees instead of 26.
Which we were very grateful for because we did walk up a bit of a hike.
Yeah, it was a hike to get there, so we've got some good pictures of us in the mountains. I'll try and put them up on screen. And had, what else? Oh, it had birds of prey there as well, so we listened to a bit of a talk about birds of prey. One which flew into my face, and I had to duck. That was fun.
It definitely wasn't a
had
duck.
loads of goats walking around, didn't it?
Yeah, that
And
was
they were
so. We were trying. I just kicked the stand. I apologise. We were trying to eat our food, and there was goats, and I freaked out because they have little horns.
Some of them had big horns.
Yeah,
They were horny.
and they had horns, and they terrified me. Like, it didn't bother me because I went up to one, didn't I, to go and stroke it. But as soon as I sat down, because I felt so vulnerable, they could just charge my legs, and I can't exactly, exit quickly. It just freaked me out, and it just stood there for ages, didn't it? I've even got a picture of it. I'll get Will to tag it up onto there, but it was terrifying. And then Will was just trying to scare away the peacock.
Yeah, there were loads of peacocks there as well. So
He didn't
peacocks
scare them, though.
and goats just sort of hanging around, and Soph was terrified. I was a little apprehensive, but I think as long as you act confident, you're always fine.
But I don't like big birds,
No, I'm not a fan either, but
and I made you walk past them first than me.
yeah.
If they attack him, then I won't walk past. I'll go the other direction.
So that was good. They had some really good food there as well, didn't they? Because we've been having, the all-inclusive food was a bit rubbish, so it was nice to have some proper food for a change. And then, just hung out there for a bit, and then drove back home. I wanted to go to a supermarket while we were there, but we didn't in the end. Not the end of the world.
We didn't really have... Well, we did have time, actually, if you thought about it, because that car shop shut at 5, which we weren't even aware of.
Yeah.
So we had time to go to a supermarket, but I think we were just too tired
We were
after.
just tired, I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
We just like the safety of the pool. So.
Yeah. It's because also where we were basically right next to Shagaluf,
Yeah.
which wasn't fun. So it didn't feel safe, but it felt safe, in the day, but at night time it didn't.
Yeah.
So when we went out in Gran Canaria, we actually went out for a meal, and it was a bit of a far trek to walk, if you remember. It wasn't far, but it was further than we walked around Gran Canaria to see for a food.
Walk.
Yeah. And then this one, you walk through, you're down the beach, but you're in Shagaluf, basically. So it's there's a load of drunk people and probably high and dangerous. You never know. I'm quite wary when I go out in the dark anyway here. So it
felt very lads rather
Yeah.
than for anyone who didn't want to just get paralytically drunk.
Yeah.
And they hired loads of English people to go and try and persuade you to go into their bars as well. But it was quite good. Just to walk around, see different things. They had a massive slingshot roller coaster ride that flung you into the air, but Sophie was too scared to do it, so I missed out.
You could have done it yourself.
I could have, to be fair. We played a lot of cards. We found a good card game, didn't we?
Yeah. Or we could do that as a short video.
We could actually, yeah.
Now we've got 2 cameras.
Good idea. Wait, so if these cameras are for the Wilfie Podcast, does that mean it should have gone on the joint account?
No, because you'll be using them for your YouTube.
Well,
This is only used for like 1 video a week.
no, 3 a week. Now
3
now
a
we're
week.
back to
Whereas this is used for 7+ videos a week for your
no,
channel.
only live streams.
Mm.
No, it'll only be used for this probably. I might borrow it, but assuming I paid for them.
You also paid half my petrol as well. I really appreciate that too.
No worries. Then yeah, that was basically it. Like, we don't have lots and lots of stories from Mallorca just because we sat by the pool all the time. But I suppose the takeaway is we just spent the time relaxing, actually not doing much, which was really nice.
It was well
There
needed.
was evening entertainment. We saw excellent Michael Jackson tribute.
Yeah.
He was really good. I followed all of the musicians in the band and messaged one of them just saying he was good at guitar. And he came back to me and said, thank you very much, and gave me a follow back. One of the backing singers followed me back as well.
Mm.
Excellent guitarist. He was awesome. He's now going to Italy, apparently, to go and do a tribute with Queen, which is super cool. But if you want to check them out, I think it's Smooth Criminal Mallorca. They've got some good stuff. That's on Instagram, Smooth Criminal Mallorca. Yeah, feel free to check them out. Won't be disappointed.
What else? Yeah, it was just a relaxing one, wasn't it?
Like, the entertainers that they have at the hotel did a show, which Soph and I just thought was dreadful. It had made no sense.
It was basically English music, and they would,
like, well-known songs.
yeah, and they were dressed as zombies or like horrific characters. Like, you know, when you're dressing up for Halloween. When you're dressing up for Halloween, that really hurt my muscles. And like, you look like a white face paint, black eyes, black marks on your mouth, and it was like that, but it was like a Michael Jackson dance thing, Thriller dance, if you know what I mean. If you ever played Just Dance, you'll get what I mean. And it was just like that. It was so weird.
Yeah.
There was no context behind it.
Yeah, the storyline basically just had no context to the songs that were being played. It was really strange. We only stayed there for like 20 minutes and then went back up to the room.
Yeah.
Just drank wine.
Like, they told us it'll be really good. And it might be really good for them. That might be their entertainment. But it didn't entertain us at all.
No.
Did it?
It was very weird.
It was.
And
then we travelled home.
We did. Our flight was delayed by like 2 hours.
No, it wasn't.
Or an hour.
It wasn't delayed at all.
It was.
Oh yeah, it was delayed because we were waiting for a while, but it didn't come up as delayed on the Ryanair app.
Yeah.
But we travelled there. We spent the last day just sitting by the pool, but I couldn't really sit in the sun because I had like all these bumps every time I went and sat in the sun.
Soph decided that she's now allergic to the sun.
I had it last year in Gran Canaria as well.
Mm.
So I don't really know what that is. I don't know if I need to although I'm always in the sun anyway. So I don't really understand. Yeah.
When?
A lot of the time. Like when I'm out with the kids, I stay in the
You're out in
garden
the sun?
with them. Yeah, when there's
In
sun
England?
out. When there's sun out,
What,
yeah.
4 days a year?
Yeah. But like, I don't understand what these bumps are in like my skin. But I don't know if it is it could have been the sun cream. I don't wear sun cream over here.
Yeah.
And I know I react to certain sun creams, so it could be a sun cream in my skin. Who knows? Like, I'm just very sensitive to anything that I really put on me, depending. And then, we just sat by the pool, played cards all day, joined in with an activity.
Yeah. Lost.
Can't remember what the activity was, though.
You had to throw a beanbag onto a bigger map with lots of scores on it.
Oh, yeah.
And the first round, you could just get anything. Next round was even numbers. Next round was odd numbers.
Yeah.
But, we also did darts, didn't we? On a previous day, and I won that one. Where basically you just had to get somebody else's number 6 times.
It was called Killer.
Yeah, it was like a version of Killer. And it was really good. And then if you got somebody out, they then had 3 darts to get their number. And if they got their number in 3 darts, then they got to stay in. If they didn't, then they were out. And I won that one. But Soph won a bottle of sparkling wine when she won her thing. And we're not massive drinkers, so we were like, oh, thank you very much. And this was like the day before we had to leave. And then later on that day, we did the darts. and I won that one and got another bottle of sparkling wine, and I ended up just giving it to the entertainer because there's no way we would get through 2 bottles of wine.
We'd probably be paralytic drunk by the end of the bottle.
It's like, I'm not a massive fan of the feeling of being drunk, and I don't think you are either, so... Yeah, that was that.
Yeah, we travelled home. We got the taxi home. He felt like he was an erratic driver.
We got the taxi home.
Taxi home, taxi to the airport. Sorry.
What are you on about? Hold on, no, reverse. None of what you've said is true. Happened.
I just said we've just finished. Like after the day, we got a taxi home, taxi to the airport, and he was an erratic driver.
Oh, from the hotel to the airport. Right, context.
Yes.
Sorry, in the story you'd already said that we got back to England. That's
story?
why it's confusing. When you just said, oh, and then we got back the next day, and we got a taxi to the airport.
Right, let's rewind. Right, at the end of the holiday, after we sat by the pool, we got a taxi to the airport.
Yes.
Better? Okay. And then it felt like a really long drive compared to like the drive there, but I think because there was a lot more traffic and it was like school hour-ish time, although I don't even know if they went back to school. And he just seemed like he didn't care where he was on the road. Just made me very uncomfortable. He just kept braking sharply.
He was a way better driver than the guy that we had on the way to the hotel.
Really?
Mm.
No. But then I'm very uncomfortable driving in the other side of the road. Because when you're watching all the cars drive past you, like I don't know if anyone does this in England, where you're watching all the cars drive past and like they all know what they're doing and where they're driving and where they're meant to be positioning in the road, apart from there's a few that are like, oh, I'm just going to scoot all the way over to the fast lane, then I'll go all the way to the slow lane. Like that. That's England for you. But these people in Spain just didn't seem like they knew where they were going on the road. Like, it just felt odd, or maybe that's normal to them, but it's not normal for us. I don't know. It was weird.
You didn't know any of them were going, because they're all going different directions.
No, and all the cars there are so damaged.
Yeah, there are a lot of accidents.
They have loads of scratches up, dents, and, like, little car marks up them. Like, they've been hit plenty of times. So that made me uncomfortable as well. But he braked sharply, like, once or twice.
The taxi driver on the way to the airport.
The taxi driver, yeah. And he was like, oh, sorry. And it was like, were you not aware there were brake lights? Like, I saw that before even, I was on my phone because I was trying to distract myself from your driving. Look up and there's brake lights and you didn't even brake until you basically saw them right in front of you. However, we got there safe and arrived to the airport safely. We didn't know where we were going in the airport.
No, because there's 3 different wings. There's an A wing, B wing and C wing. Oh no, and a D wing actually.
It wasn't even that. It was
and our
at the start.
Gate number hadn't been released. So we didn't know which wing we had to be in. So we just went to A, because that was basically where everyone was going. And ended up having some food after walking around to lots of different places. We wanted to try out at McDonald's, but we didn't in the end just because the queue was massive and I don't like waiting in queues. So we waited in a different queue.
But it wasn't even that part where we weren't sure. Like, when we went to Gran Canaria, it was a smaller one. When we got in there, we looked around everywhere for security.
Oh, yeah.
And there was no sign of saying security.
I
Yeah.
had to go upstairs, and there was a big queue to wait to go through.
Yeah, but although it didn't take that long,
so it was all right.
And the guy, so on the way to Mallorca, I got tapped down on my left arm, and I don't know why. There was nothing in it, but I think it might have been like the Blakely bit on the jumper. Maybe it wasn't though, because she didn't check the other arm. I don't know. It was weird. I don't have anything metal in my arm. I don't have any bombs in my arm. But she tapped me down and then she tried to make it more comfortable for me by going, where are you going? And I'm like, Mallorca. But she's like right in my face and it just made me so uncomfortable. And then on the way back from Mallorca, I had this guy drug test me, I'm guessing, with some alcoholic wipe, do the palm of my hand by my thumb, and finger crease thingy bit there on both hands. And then he put it in and he was like, oh yeah, you're fine. And it was like, why did you just drug test me? Don't they normally do that on your suitcases and other stuff? I've never seen it before and it made me very uncomfortable. And whatever it was stung my hands as well because it was quite a strong thing that they're obviously putting on your skin to see if you've got drugs on you.
Don't know
but I don't know, maybe I look like a vulnerable person. Could be, what is it called? Drug trafficking or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. But
mule. You could be a mule.
What's a mule?
A mule is somebody that takes drugs from one place to another.
Yeah, I could look like that. Like Will's the drug person, but he's trying to walk through without
What do you
having
mean
the
I'm
drugs on him.
person?
And then it's me who looks vulnerable and been like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why am I doing this? And look like I'm in trouble. I don't know. The drug dealer, but I'm the one that carries it on with me.
Go away. I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm going to have so many texts.
He's not a drug dealer. This is what I was just thinking in my head whilst they were drug testing me. But once we got there, there was A, B, C, D wings that you just said.
Yeah, so.
But we were going to go to Burger King, but it was really...
My phone just fell in my tea.
I thought your tea fell over.
It's alright, it didn't knock it over, and my phone is dry.
What was it? Oh yeah, we were going to go to Burger King because it was in the main part of the airport, so you didn't have to go A, B, C, or D.
After you got through security, yeah. So there were 4 wings, but right at the start there's a Burger King. We decided to walk past that.
No, we had a look.
We decided to walk past that, go all the way over to A wing, then realised, hang on a second, no, we want some food because we couldn't see any restaurants immediately. So then we went back to Burger King, saw it was going to cost us about £4 million. So left there, went back to A wing, went all the way down to the end of A wing, which was like a 2-kilometre walk, and then for people who struggle, it's about 1.4 miles.
It was actually about a 5-minute walk.
It absolutely wasn't.
It was. It just took forever because there was people in your way.
And then walked past lots of different restaurants. In the hunt for the McDonald's because I kept having signs for a McDonald's, and we eventually got there, which took ages, and the queue was too big, so then we went to this other restaurant and just sat there for a bit, which was nice because we both wanted to sit down because we'd been on our feet for like quite a while at that point. And then eventually we got our gate because we were like, there's no way they're going to call it in gate A, it's definitely going to be one of the others, and lo and behold it was.
Well, no, we thought it was gate A because there was all the Ryanair planes there.
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't.
No.
And I did say beforehand, like, there's no way we're going to have got this right. I think A's a good bet because it's the biggest one, but it wasn't. And we ended up going all the way over to C, had to show our passports to even get into C, and then there was no getting back into A once you had gone through that passport check.
I think A was like the main place where you get food, and maybe your plane might be there.
Yeah.
Depending.
And then just sat around, waited for our plane, played a bit more cards, and then got up, got in the queue to go back to the plane, and we just stood there, and it was like, it's going to take off at 9:30. Meanwhile, we were still stood in the airport at 9:30 looking at the screen.
If you look at the screen where we were sat as we were waiting, we were sat looking at the screen, and I was like, it's just added an extra minute, and I'm like a toilet person, need to go to the toilet before I go anywhere. So I was like, I'll wait until it's like 8:40 or something.
You're a toilet person, you can say that again.
Go at like 8:40, I'll go to the toilet, and then we can go to the gate, because the gate was literally like 2 seconds away from where we were sat. And the time just kept changing, and then we were like, okay, the gate's open now, people are like lining up over there, so we went over there, didn't we?
Yep.
And we waited there for probably half an hour, 45 minutes waiting to go in. And I mean, I think Ryanair were quite bored, like the Ryanair staff, because they decided to get people to pay extra for their suitcases, which is not
Ryanair have very
nice.
strict regulations on what you're allowed to bring on board. And so our bags are fine because I checked them before I bought them. And some other people, like, their bags were literally smaller than ours, but because they didn't match the Ryanair dimensions, like, they got charged an extra €70 just for taking the bag. And it's like crazy.
It was really like, and like the lady was like, I got here, why am I having to do it on the way back, sort of thing. But there was also a pair, like parents with a child with like a nappy bag carry thing, and like, I'm not being funny, if you search up like nappy bags or something, you probably won't know. But they don't all have, like, you don't have dimensions, like nappy bag are for nappy bags, changing clothes, bottles, wipes, all that stuff. You don't have a certain size bag for that, because you'll need plenty if you're going on a flight or something, or if your child is, like, just in case, like, child wheezes so much, you need loads of nappies. You never know, right? Not a clue. And, this family had to take all their stuff out, empty what was in their bags. Like, they had, like, bags full of stuff to put in the bin because it wouldn't fit in that, like, bag carrier thing, like the carry-on bag thing that they wanted it to fit in. So they had to like squidge it down to them for it to fit back in again. So like they lost so much stuff from their bag just because it wouldn't fit in their like carry-on bag measurement thing, which is really silly.
So Sophie and I have decided that we're only going to be flying BA from now on because BA is better, and I want to become a bronze member, which only requires 25 flights a year. So that's 12 and a half each.
Requires for Will to be booking the holidays.
Yeah.
And for him to actually say, yes, we can go on holiday.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't make sense this year. I didn't have the money, you didn't have the money. Well,
I did have the money.
But I really didn't have the money, but I just want to keep you happy.
I really wanted a holiday.
I know.
I worked so hard this year.
I know.
But once we got once we got to Stansted Airport, forgot what that was called then, we had to wait for our bus or transport thing to get back to the car park, and like it wasn't very clear. Like there was 2 different buses that go to either the long stay car park or the jet parks that we were staying at, and they're at the both same car park, so people were getting on thinking it will go and take them to the 2 different places, but some people had to get off to then go back and then go on a different bus for their journey back. Which, yeah, maybe they should have had 2 little different bus stops, but in the same area sort of thing. But, you know, airports aren't always that organised. And we got on there, we travelled back to the car. My car actually started, which we were very happy for, because my car doesn't always start. Like, it fails to start when it's cold, and we don't know how cold it was back in England. And it actually started finally, thankfully, not finally. And we travelled home.
Yep.
Will came up with all these ideas whilst I was trying to stay awake.
What ideas?
For your 60-day pub gig challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did actually listen to. I was just trying to stay awake and like take it in whilst I'm half asleep and I don't want to fall asleep because he was driving. And then we got home, and I think the most exciting part of the end of the holiday was coming back to our own place, walking in, and it just being us.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best part, I think.
Yeah, no, it was nice to come back to our home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was basically the Mallorca holiday. It was pretty uneventful.
It might have been really boring for you
called
lot, but...
Ralph that squirted us with the water gun while we were sat by the pool.
I thought he was going to push you in.
Yeah, I thought he was as well. I was going to drown him if he did.
He wouldn't.
And, yeah, so now we're back. And getting back more into a routine. Soph's gone back to work, already done a sleep-in shift.
After a month.
After a month of not doing them. And I started uni the week that we got back as well, so I've done that. And, yeah, getting to learn about all my assignments. So for my massive end-of-year final project, all I've got to do is a 1,500-word proposal on what I want my final project to be. That's due in, 6 weeks. Then I've got... in May, my final project due, which is only 3,000 words and a 6-song EP, which is absolutely nothing. It's super exciting that all I've got to do is make music. It's crazy. And I'm getting super pumped as well because John Bellion's just released a new song and it's the best thing ever that I've ever heard. So I've started sampling the same as he does, and it's just awesome. It's going to make me so much quicker to make music. And I keep having lots of ideas as well. I was awake last night just thinking about all the different things I'll be able to do using that same technique. I love it. I get so obsessed. And one of my other ones is... It's not ADHD. I'm obsessed with one thing.
ADHD.
They won't be able to hear you. Another assignment, I've just got to master 2 songs, which takes an hour per song if you're really taking your time. And then it's just a 2,000-word write-up. Another one I've got to do is write 2 songs to a creative brief. Basically just write 2 songs and then write 2,000 words about it. Really easy. And then the last one, I missed the start of the lesson because it took me 2 hours to get there and I allowed an hour and a half, which you would think would be enough to do 20 miles, but it isn't. And
which is crazy because it's 22 miles for me to get to work and it's 20 miles to get to Brighton.
Yeah,
and it takes me half an hour to get to work.
Yeah, it's nuts.
No.
And so I missed what that was. I can have a look at what the brief is. My guess is it will be a 2,000-word write-up and probably have to make 2 tracks that go onto like a film trailer is my guess on what that one will be. That's the one I'm probably most apprehensive about, just because I've never done music for film before. But I could probably practice on these podcasts, to be fair. In fact, one of the things for one of the assignments is you can literally do music for a podcast. So, yeah. Oh, I was supposed to log on to that webinar lesson this morning, wasn't I? LOL.
Yeah.
What is the time, by the way? Am I supposed to be coaching tonight? Oh, Grandad has asked if we're up for a cuppa. Oh, and I am coaching this evening. Poo bags. Just responding. Yeah, no worries. Can I double check the time is 5:30 to 6:30. Cool. Right, I'm going to set an alarm to leave at 5. Clock. Feel free to keep talking to the ladies and gentlemen at home.
I don't really know what else to talk about. This was about our holiday.
We'll just sit here in silence while socially awkward.
Well, this is about our holiday. It wasn't really about anything else. I've got nothing else exciting. I've gone back to work. And that's really about it. Yeah.
What were the kids' reaction when you went back?
Well, a couple of days before I was going back, they were asking where I was.
To the other staff members?
To the other staff, yeah. And was like, where's Sophie? Where's Sophie? And they're like, oh, she'll be in soon. Because I was gone for 17 days. And like last year I was gone for like 14 days. So I didn't think 3 days would make a difference. But it seemed to make a lot of difference.
I think also they've had another year to get to know you.
Yeah. Whereas they only knew me for about 8 months.
Yeah.
7 months, something like that anyway. And also this child also knows that I'm their key worker. So they have a bit of a different bond, which we never really thought they'd have a different bond to their key worker. And then the day I actually was coming in and I started at 7:15, after having 17 days off and waking up at like 8 or staying in bed till like 8 or whatever, was a shock to the system when I had to get up at 6 and out of bed and be at work for 7:15. It was a big shock. And I walked in and apparently tonight staff, they were going, oh, Sophie's in today. Where's Sophie? Sophie coming in today? And they're like, we're not sure if it's Sophie or not. We don't know who it is yet. And I walk in and she was very happy to see me. She gave me a massive hug, told me that she missed me and hugged me and said, I'm never letting you go again. And I was like, okay, that's really cute. And like I've had her, so I haven't actually been with anyone else apart from this child. Because like normally we have a sleep-in, it'll be with like the set child that has a sleep-in. But I've actually been with this child since I've come back, and every single day or every single evening she's hugged me and like been very affectionate. She's never been this affectionate before. It might have been scary for her because she's obviously lost like quite a lot of stuff, that when they leave or like they move out or do something, like she loses that staff member and she like might have that fear in the back of her mind. But I promised her I'd be back. Yeah. And I've come back. She's just very affectionate. I'm not used to it.
Oh, Grandad's calling. We'll take a quick break on the podcast. About? And we're back. Yeah, sorry about that. Just had to speak to
Sorry, I'm just replying back to my mum.
Going to a coffee shop in, what's the time? 35 minutes. So yeah, and I've got to give one of his cars back as well because I stole it for a few days while I got a flat tyre. I got a flat tyre the other day. And my spare was flat as well. What are the chances? And I ended up having to get 3 tyres because my 2 front tyres were bald.
Was your spare tyre actually punctured or was it flat, and did they pump that back up again?
Yeah, so they pumped it back up again, but the wire inside the tyre was like poking through it. So it was like flat.
Right.
What?
I'm curious. Could have said, can I look up my tyre?
Why?
I'm really like hit and miss with car garages. Like when I called up to get my MOT done and I said, no, it was my service when we were going to Lake District. In fact, like that's the last time I've had my car serviced. And they said, oh, it's going to cost this much for you if you go for the most expensive one. or we can just do you a basic one and it'll cost you this much. And they asked for my registration number, my name and my address, obviously for the thing, to make sure that, because I've been there many times before, they just want to double check it's me. And they're like, oh my God, you're his daughter. I'm not going to say my dad's full name. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do it for this much money for you. And I was like, whoa, I get it discounted? And he was like, no, this is normally what we charge. And it's like, what, because I'm a female, you're going to charge me more across the phone? Like, it really annoyed me. And like, now sometimes if I have to phone the garage, it'll be me, but I will make sure they know that I am that person's son, daughter, son.
Yeah, no, I generally don't get ripped off just because I question them about exactly what they've done and why they have to do certain stuff.
Sorry, he's messaged me back, the fixed it up guy.
Oh yeah.
And he said it's going to be a tricky one. Not sure if I can fully fix it, but still look.
Yeah, come round and look.
To me, it looks like it's coming through the bricks. If it's coming through the bricks, then she's got. Sorry, we'll talk about this off the podcast.
Yeah, well, we're basically wrapped up anyway. So I've been Will.
I've been safe.
Jesus, you're bad at this.
You looked at me, you're like, I've been Will.
I've been Will.
I've been safe.
And this is the Wilfie Podcast. Cheers, guys.